Montessori classrooms break all the rules of traditional education, and I'm here to tell you why. Dr. Maria Montessori found that children are deeply sensitive to their environments. They absorb and internalize the smallest details around them and use these sensorial impressions to build their knowledge of the world. Because of this, we must carefully and intentionally design every detail and aspect, building a space for children that Montessori calls the prepared environment. And while the prepared environment typically refers to the classrooms in a Montessori school, I will note that home environments can be prepared environments too. If you search Montessori on Instagram, you will find that the classrooms have a very specific aesthetic: neutral colors, wooden furniture and materials, and an uncluttered, minimalistic design. But these design choices are not just a matter of preference or personal taste, they exist for a reason. Montessori classrooms are uncluttered and orderly and are filled with real objects made of natural materials like glass vases, metal tools, and wooden trays. Other details like fresh flowers, art hung at child height, and an emphasis on natural light make Montessori classrooms unique. While these details may be small and might exist in other kinds of classrooms, these little pieces are key and crucial to every Montessori classroom or prepared environment. While fresh flowers may be a nice to have in another school setting, fresh flowers are an integral part of the Montessori curriculum. To understand all the building blocks of what makes a prepared environment or classroom, quote unquote, Montessori, we will take a look at the spatial layout of the room, the furniture pieces themselves, and the educational Montessori materials placed amongst said furniture. In Montessori, education is child centered. Therefore, the prepared environment is not teacher led in the traditional sense. Learning materials and lessons are presented by the teacher or guide, but what the child chooses to work on and how long they choose to work on it is up to the child. So, how does the prepared environment reflect this child centered approach? Flexible workspaces may have become popular over the last 5 years or so, but Montessori schools have been using this model with children since 1907. In a Montessori classroom, children aren't confined to desks. They move freely around the room, choosing where to sit, what to work on, and even when to take a break. Tables, rugs, and quiet corners all create zones where different types of work can happen at the same time. Instead of rows of desks and chairs all facing the teacher at the head of the room, Montessori classrooms feature clusters of tables and chairs and open floor space conducive to lots of different types of activity. This spatial layout provides children with a variety of flexible workspaces where they can work independently, work with a partner, or in small groups, depending on their needs and interests. This flexibility and freedom supports the development of skills such as physical coordination, sustained concentration, problem solving, and decision making. As children move around the room freely, work for as long as they need to on any given task, and collaborate with others to solve problems and seek help when they need it, they also learn to navigate social dynamics with respect and consideration. Working alongside others encourages them to listen actively, offer help when needed, and interact with others respectfully, fostering a culture of compassion and mutual respect. Children can navigate their own learning in a way that not only supports academic and personal growth, but also nurtures a sense of community. Everything from the furniture to the materials is scaled to the child's size. Shelves are low, tools are accessible, and children are taught how to care for their environment, clean up after themselves, and take part in day to day activities like preparing snacks. This is how the prepared environment inherently fosters independence in children. While Montessori encourages freedom, it does not mean a complete lack of boundaries within the classroom. Children are given freedom within certain limits. One way that the prepared environment introduces these limits spatially is through rugs called work mats. Work mats are used in the prepared environment to help define personal space and to teach boundaries and respect for other people's work. The work mat sends a message to everyone else in the room that says, "This is my space and my work, and it deserves care and focus." You will see children in a Montessori classroom rolling these mats out, typically on a carpeted area on the floor, and defining their personal workspace in this way. Dr. Montessori used the word materials to describe the wide array of learning tools that she created to introduce educational concepts and teach specific skills. These materials are hands-on learning tools, each designed to teach a specific concept across all subject areas within the Montessori curriculum, like math, language, geography, and art. Montessori materials are placed intentionally within distinct areas, each designed to support a different aspect of a child's development. In the practical life area, children are given the tools to engage in everyday tasks like pouring, buttoning, or sweeping to build independence, concentration, and coordination. The sensorial area helps refine the senses through the hands-on exploration of color, texture, shape, and sound. The language area includes materials that support reading, writing, vocabulary development, and verbal expression. The mathematics area offers concrete tools that help children understand numbers, quantity, and operations in a tangible way. And the cultural area introduces children to geography, science, art, and music, expanding on their understanding of the world. And the cultural area introduces children to geography, science, art, and music, expanding on their understanding of the world. It's a whole curriculum laid out for the child to explore and discover as they build their skills and follow their interests. Each material is designed to introduce and isolate a specific skill or concept. This allows the child to focus on one idea at a time and experience these concepts in a hands-on way. Let's look at a classic Montessori material, the pink tower, as an example. The pink tower is designed to introduce children to the concept of size and to help develop their skills of spatial awareness and visual discrimination. We start by isolating the concept. All the blocks are the same shape, so we aren't trying to compare the size of a cube to the size of a sphere or a pyramid. We start by isolating the concept. All the blocks are the same shape, so we aren't trying to compare the size of a cube to the size of a sphere or a pyramid. In other words, we are comparing apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. All the cubes are the same color, so we are not sorting or differentiating the cubes by their color. The only difference between the cubes is their size. So as children handle the blocks and stack them into a tower, their attention naturally focuses on the concept we are isolating, which is size. Montessori materials are also designed to be self-correcting, meaning that children can see when they've made a mistake and figure out how to fix it without needing constant adult correction. If a child stacks the cubes of the pink tower in the wrong order, their tower may be unbalanced, and the child will see and feel that something is off. When the cubes are stacked correctly from largest to smallest, the tower is stable, symmetrical, and evenly decreases in size. This brings us to another important feature of the prepared environment. In a Montessori classroom, learning is introduced in a concrete to abstract progression. A great example of this approach can be demonstrated through Montessori math materials. To a young child, the numeral 10 doesn't mean anything. It's just a couple marks on a page. So, before learning to read or write numbers, children use physical beads to experience and visualize what 10 looks like. They begin by counting 10 beads and then matching this physical group with the numeral 10. Once they fully understand the meaning of the symbol 10, they can begin writing it themselves and using it in other math applications. This concrete foundation allows them to later write mathematical equations with a clear understanding of the quantity that 10 represents. In other words, once they understand a concept through concrete experiences, they are then able to represent that understanding in more abstract ways. This approach applies to all Montessori materials and is the core foundation of the Montessori curriculum. This is a way of learning that starts with something real, specific, and easy to understand, and then moves to apply that knowledge in more general or complex ways. In a Montessori classroom, children don't learn a concept by memorizing facts. They learn by doing. Dr. Montessori defined the classroom as the prepared environment because it is a space that is intentionally designed and carefully prepared to encourage children to be independent, curious, and collaborative. It is more than just a room with desks and books. It is one of the most important aspects of Montessori education. It is a place where everything is intentional, functional, and orderly, and supports children in developing concentration and independence as they learn and grow. By exploring, problem solving, and participating in day-to-day life in meaningful, concrete ways, children build their skill set and knowledge. In Montessori classrooms, the environment is the teacher. Every shelf, table, and material has a purpose. It's not just about aesthetics or cleanliness, though those things do matter too. It's about creating a space where children are able to explore, contribute, participate, and in doing so, learn. All links and sources can be found in the description and our pinned comment below. If you'd like a deep dive into the planes of development or need a crash course on Montessori 101, check out our suggested videos. Have a video idea or are curious about another aspect of Montessori? Comment below what you'd like to see next. Like this video if we nailed it, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you soon.